Detroit Pistons lose their 20th straight game. Once again, I'm going to try my best to make sense of this nightmare season.
Passing lane, sky's a jam. Dynamite dunk and the crowd loves it.
Welcome back to Pistons Intellect. I'm your host, Jack Kelly. You can follow me on Twitter at Jack_Kelly_3on3. If you're feeling so kind, please hit that subscribe button. We're getting close to 500 subscribers, and as bad as the season has been, this channel has become my favorite place to come and vent and share most of my thoughts. So I appreciate everyone that's joined and everyone that's tuning in, leaving comments and all that. So thank you to everyone. Today, we're back to break down another Pistons loss, their 20th in a row. And yeah, I mean, there's some positives out of today, I think. At least I'm going to put a positive spin on some things. But yeah, Pistons fall to the Pacers by 8 points. The final score is Detroit 123, Indiana 131. In a game that played out very similar to the last Pacers-Pistons meeting a couple of weeks ago. Pistons started great. Believe they were ahead slightly in the first quarter. Had some struggles in the second quarter, but was still well within the game at halftime. Cade Cunningham was playing well. Ausar Thompson was playing well, especially in the first half. Things were looking good. Second half, third quarter wasn't bad either. Pistons still in the game. I believe they were within 6 points or so at the three-quarter time break. And then the last quarter happens and the Pistons kind of fall apart. The Pacers pull away. The Pistons, this final scoreline's probably not exactly how this one played out. It was maybe I've just become used to the losing now, but it felt like the Pistons weren't winning this game with 5 to 6 minutes to go. Tyrese Halliburton hit a huge three. Miles Turner hit big shots. The thing with the Pacers, and I mean, for anyone who pays attention to basketball, like they're the best offense in the league. It feels like every single player on the court at all times is a scoring threat, which obviously they give up stuff on the defensive end. They're the 28th ranked defense in the league. But, I mean, they're just an offensive juggernaut. They're on pace for the best offense in history, and a lot of that's to do with today's NBA, but a lot of that is to do with how much offensive talent they have, the shooting, the athleticism, just anything you want on offense, they've pretty much got it. So they pulled away in the end. And yeah, like I said, this wasn't that close. And Detroit now find themselves with their 20th straight loss. The single season record for the most losses ever is 26, which I believe was set by the Sixers in the early 70s. The longest losing streak of all time is 28 losses, which Philly... the 76ers set, I believe, maybe in like the 2015, somewhere around there, under Sam Hinkie. So, look, the Pistons are getting close to those records, and I believe the Pistons' all-time losing record is 21 or 22, and that spanned across 2 seasons as well. So, with a back-to-back or 2 games coming up against the Philadelphia 76ers, feels like they're going to break that one. So, look, I don't want to spend too much just ranting, but I will say this team and the talent on it is not as bad as what we're seeing. I think the more I've watched this, the more I've just realized that, yes, the Pistons are bad. Yes, this roster's constructed poorly. Yes, they put up 123 points tonight, and it was against the worst defense, a bottom 3 defense in the league. So I'm not getting too excited by, all these 20-point performances by the young guys, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But I think the one thing that sticks out to me, and like obviously the Spurs at the moment are on, I think they just set a franchise record for a losing streak at 17 losses today with a loss against the Rockets. I think the thing that stands out to me is, yes, these teams are bad, and same with the Wizards. But I think just the overall talent in the league makes these teams stand out even more. I just feel like in that middle portion of the league, yes, there might be bland teams like the Bulls or the Hornets, or I mean, I'm struggling to think of other ones, but like there's those middling teams, but they've all got talent. And I think the Pistons they have some young talent, same with the Spurs, but just top to bottom don't have that experienced talent or just, yeah. I think just that's also a contributing factor into this losing streak. But I mean, ultimately, it's not much of an excuse because at least for the Spurs, they're in their first year or second year, I guess you could say, of a full on rebuild. Pistons are in like year 4, really year 5. But look, a move needs to be made. For me at the moment, I believe you'll be watching this on December 12th. So we're within a week now, or sorry, we're 3 days away from that trigger where free agents signed this past summer can be traded. So I'd be shocked probably if a deal was made on December 15th, but I would like to think before the turn of the new year, some form of moves made, or at least hearing rumors and some form of credible reporting around the Pistons looking to make a move because, yeah, I've said it every show. Like this is just a nightmare. Like 20 straight losses. I think the magnitude of how bad that is kind of just being lost. At least for those tuning in, most of you are probably pretty diehard fans. Like I think 20 straight losses sounds ridiculous, but I don't even think we can appreciate how bad that is because we've been watching this team every night. So you've just kind of come to expect them to get to this point. Whereas I would assume for national media and people who don't follow the Pistons as close as we do, this is like, yeah, I'm probably surprised it isn't more of a national story, and I assume it's going to pick up a lot more steam. But yeah, I mean, the fact we don't hear from anyone apart from Monty Williams and the players, I think it's a problem in itself. Some might disagree. Yeah, the only sort of things we get trickled out are that, need more time and we're not trading any of the young guys, and which, I mean, I guess are true, but like, honestly, yeah, I don't know. I tweeted out last week, like, I'm still always have significant interest in this team, but the passion I have and kind of the energy I have is kind of dwindling with each loss. And yeah, I think that's honestly like that's what the players look like. Like this team needs a win so bad in so many ways, just to remind themselves they're actually capable of winning, because we are getting awfully close to, like, I mean, the loss is 20 losses in a row is ridiculous, but we're getting close to like 2 months, 62 days of like not winning a basketball game, and you play every other night. Like this isn't like college or other leagues around the world where you play twice a week or once a week in some cases. Like they're playing 3 to 4 times a week typically, and you're not winning anything. Like it's a long time to go without any kind of a smile, and the pressure just builds and confidence dwindles. So they need to win bad, but I think that'll do for the negativity as such. Like any negativity is kind of honestly welcome for this franchise now. I'm not going to tell anyone that, like I've said in other episodes, like if you don't want to watch, I don't blame you. If you want to vent in the comments here, I don't blame you. You want to come at me on Twitter, you want to go at whoever, as long as it's not in bad taste, go for your life, because I think venting is kind of the only thing we have right now as fans. So, but I think I want to get to some of the, I guess, I'm not going to say positives, I'll say bright spots for me. And it's going to be solely focused on individual players and development, I guess, because we're back to looking for those silver linings. And I want to start with Jaden Ivey tonight. Before the game, a couple of hours before, I tweeted out just an opinion in that I think Jaden Ivey, all I want to see tonight is him play 25 minutes or more. That's where we're at now. I just want to see him getting consistently 25 minutes or more. And I was My wish was met, I guess you could say. Ivy played a season high 34 minutes and finished with 18 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. And I think beyond the box score, and for those that were able to watch mainly the second half, his driving and first step was just on full display. Funnily enough, Monty Williams said in the press conference or the post-game press conference that no one can stay in front of Jaden Ivey because of his first step or something along those lines, which, look, 23 games into the season with a full training camp and a preseason, to be saying that now is a bit bizarre, but look, at least he knows it and he's acknowledging it, because it was, like I said, he was getting by everyone. And I do want to just mention it was against the Pacers, but either way, his first step, it was bursting by everyone. Transition, he was pushing it, even grabbed a rebound and pushed it at one stage. And that's all I want to see him do. Like, there's obviously so much more he can improve upon, but when he's attacking downhill like that, you see the potential and why people think, and I am one of them, think at some stage he could be the best scorer on this team that the Pistons have in terms of just points per game. Not necessarily dynamic and it's most skillful, but just in terms of pure getting to the cup, scoring, getting the free throw line, just pure points per game and point output. Like, you can see when Jaden's playing like that, why people believe that. And that's one of the reasons I am, because I just think when he's locked in and has that confidence to drive and put his head down, yes, he's going to make some bad decisions. He's going to get caught and make some silly decisions with jump passes and times like that, because he's an athletic player and he's sort of full steam ahead at all times. He's going to miss some easy shots. But I just think when he's attacking like that, that is peak Jaden Ivey, and that's where he's going to make his money on the offensive end. And I just want to continue to see that. And when I tweeted after the game, I want to see the ball in his hands more. And I'm not just necessarily, I'm not talking about like pick and roll reps as such, but just coming off second side actions, getting him coming out from the corner, instead of just sitting in the corner, receiving a handoff like around sort of the break, free throw line extended through area and attacking downhill, getting that DHO off Stu and attacking downhill, just getting moving, not so much sort of ISOs and pick and roll, which I don't mind every now and then, but more so just getting moving, coming off screens, attacking downhill, because, yeah, Pacers couldn't stop him for a little bit there. And in that third quarter, when things were going a little bit astray and the Pacers they just keep churning points. Like, they just don't stop getting points in any way. But Jaden was going back and forth, matching the Pacers with buckets, off drives, and generating drive and kick opportunities, open looks for other teammates. So really loved his game, and I don't want to say applaud, but I was happy to see Monty reward him. I don't think Jaden came out. So from whenever he checked in halfway through the third quarter, he played the whole rest of the game. So Monty rewarded his good play, which is huge, I guess. Just as an observer and a fan, that's a huge tick, and I guess a confidence that maybe Monty is going to start rewarding his good play, because I don't think Monty hasn't rewarded Jaden's good play per se since the season started, but it's more been yanking him when he's playing bad. So I'm going to be interested to see if he tonight, Monty's got some additional trust and he can allow Jaden to play through some mistakes, because Jaden did make mistakes tonight, but on the most part, it was a really good game for him. So it's going to be next game, if Jaden's sort of struggling, I really want to see Monty just stick with him, because Jaden's 21, turning 22 maybe, or he might be 22. So young in his second season. Like, you've got to allow him to go through the bumps and turns as a second-year player. You can't just pull him if he has a defensive miscue or look. I just want to see him be allowed to play through things. So I can't complain about the way Monty used him tonight. That was ideally how I want to see Jaden used from now on. Doesn't have to hit the 34-minute mark, but 26, 27, 28 minutes at least. And just the way he's utilised on offense, particularly in the second half, just made a heap of sense to me. It'd be nice if Jaden could get his 3-point shot back from last season. It's really tailed off. I wouldn't be surprised if he's dipped below 30% maybe on the season. I'll quickly bring that up now, but yeah, he hasn't had a really good 3-point shooting game in a while, it feels like. He's at 30% on the season. So that is definitely an area he needs to improve. And that'll really help things. But good game from Jaden. And I guess the next player I want to talk about is Ausar Thompson. Ausar had a really nice game tonight, probably his best game in a while, to be honest. He finished with 20 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block and a steal, and 8 of 10 from the field, and was back to kind of that box score stuffing ways of his. In the past 4 games before this, he hadn't scored over 5 points. So back as a starter, back where I think he should be, and playing at the 4. And I think for those who paid a lot of attention tonight, the big thing for Ausar was, yes, he was back to kind of doing everything on the court, but him being utilized as a role man with Cade, particularly in that first quarter, that looked really promising. Cade actually hit Ausar on the roll for the first bucket of the game, and then Cade actually got like a layup not long after off a screen from Ausar. Yeah, that looked really good. Looked like generated a ton of good looks. To be honest, in theory, I've always gotten the idea of Ausar being a screen setter and rolling and playing like Bruce Brown and, trying to use him in that way. But the only reason I haven't kind of brought that up as much and sort of tried to hammer it home, because I agree it's an excellent idea and it makes so much sense. But watching his OTE stuff, I'd have to go back and check the numbers 100%, but I don't believe Ausar, there's an art to screening, and Ausar has freakish athleticism. So maybe this is probably where my miscalculation came. But just to see him setting screens and, making things happen immediately, I didn't expect. I thought this would be much more growing pains. And I know it seems like a basic thing to do, but, as athletic as Ausar is, he's pretty slender right now. So because of his athleticism, he doesn't need to set the best screens or, that kind of thing. But yeah, just to see positive results in that first quarter straight away was really encouraging. And overall, Ausar just had, like I said, a really good game. Even hit a 3, which even though I said in my last video I'd like to see him dial them back a bit, he hit 1 3. I think he was 1 of 2 on the night. So look, I don't mind taking 1 or 2 a game. If you make one, that allows you, in my mind, to take another one for the game. So he's got to learn somehow to shoot. So especially while this team is struggling so much, I don't mind 1 or 2 threes from Ausar night. It's like last game when he gets to 4 or 5, where it's like, if you haven't hit 1, I don't think that's helping anyone, because it wouldn't be helping his confidence and it's not helping the team. So really good game from Ausar. Great chemistry with Cade in that pick and roll. I think for the first game trying it. And like I said, I think Ausar at the 4 just makes a lot of sense with Boyan back on both sides of the ball. And if you have Stewart at the 5, who in theory he kind of can space, as long as he's not clogging up the middle while they're running that pick and roll, I think, yeah, that makes sense offensively right now with what you have. When Jalen Duren comes back, that's where it gets a little bit tricky once again. But he's not probably going to be back till the next year. So really good game from Ausar. And then the final player I want to touch on, at least in a bit of depth here, is Cade. Cade kind of had just a Cade Cunningham game that we've come to expect from him. 23 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 11 of 21 shooting, 3 turnovers. Definitely looked good. But I think my challenge to Cade Cunningham, especially during this losing streak, is to bring it defensively and set a tone there. Because I feel like when I watch him play defense right now, I understand he's carrying a significant load on offense. But if you're the leader of the team, if you can't put the team on your back offensively, drop 45 and drag these guys to a win, I'm not saying he's not trying, but some of these defensive possessions I catch where he's just very slow to rotate, or not rotate at all, or not communicate. Like, I just don't think with where this team's at, how many games they've lost and the position he holds in the franchise, he's setting the best example on defense right now. I don't think I'm crazy for saying that. And my challenge to him, if this ever got to him, was I just want to see 48 minutes or one game of just all-out defense. I don't care about your offense. I want to see you be that, 6'6" guy, 7-foot wingspan, getting in passing lanes, deflections. I've seen Cade Cunningham shut people down one-on-one in ISO. Like when he has the energy and intensity, is an excellent, I think, on-ball defender. Especially if he's not guarding like a Kawhi Leonard or some of the best wings in the world. Like, he can be doing a lot more, I feel like. And that's my challenge, because clearly he can't right now drag this team to a victory off the back of his offense. That's fine. I don't know how many guys can do that in the league, especially in their second year or 2.5. Like, I'm not saying this is his third season, because I don't even think he's played 100 games yet. Maybe he has just. So, but defense, I want to see him full locked in intensity, especially in the first half when the game's there up for grabs. Lock in. Like, I just see far too many possessions where there are plenty of other guys having defensive miscues, and you could call them out for the same things. But I just think it starts with Cade. Like, he's the leader. He's the number one pick. He's the guy, all the billboards, he's the guy every Pistons fan knows. He's the guy everyone looks to. And I feel like he needs to bring more of an intensity on defense. I actually am at the point now where I know you're going to get your 20 points. I know you're going to get your 7 assists. And I know you're going to do it on around 45% shooting. But that's not going to get us a win. So I need to see him bring it on the defensive end. So that's my little rant on Cade. That's my challenge for him. Very interested to hear everyone's thoughts on Cade's defense. This isn't me saying he sucks or he's a bust. Like, I'm just saying, with the position he holds in the franchise, I need to see more defensively as a leader. So interested to hear comments below on that. And if maybe I'm out of line, but let me know below if you agree. And if you think that's something that could help the team, because I think just where they're at, I don't know what more you can do offensively right now with the roster they have. Like, they shot the ball well tonight for the most part. They put 120 points up. Cade had a decent game. Probably slight tweaks you can make, but I feel like the defense. Yeah. So anyway, the last thing I kind of want to touch on was I just wanted to give a little shout out to James Wiseman. I think he's been someone the fan base has been quick to judge. And look, honestly, I get it. The trade for Sadiq Bey, whilst it had nothing to do with James Wiseman in terms of him as a player, he's just come here and he's trying to earn his way in the NBA. I get why fans, that whole Sadiq Bey thing frustrates them. I think he's been criticized for that, probably unfairly, but at the same time, it's the NBA. Trades happen. You're going to get compared to who you trade for. So I say all that to say I think he was excellent tonight. Probably one of the best games I've seen him play in a Pistons uniform. In 13 minutes, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 3 blocks. And, I mean, maybe it's because Jalen Brown wasn't there and I guess Marvin Bagley, but without any other real true bigs, like, I feel like his rim protection was decent. The rebounding has sort of always been a bit an issue with Wise, but I think his rim protection and just hustle on the offensive end, he had a couple of dunks. I thought he did his job in 13 minutes of action, and he finished with a +4 in the plus-minus. So quick shout out to him because I feel like he's copped it a little bit. So good game from Wise. But look, that'll do it, I think, guys. Let me know your comments below on the game. Like I said, we're 3 to 4 days away from potentially a move being able to be made with any free agent, any player on a roster in the league. So maybe we have some news this time next week. But yeah, I guess that's all we've got hope for right now. So the Pistons, I'll be back. Looks like their next game is on Wednesday night. And I believe it is against the Philadelphia 76ers. So I'll be back to recap that game. But yeah, as I said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to everyone who's commented, subscribed. Appreciate it all. It means the world to me. But until Thursday night, go Pistons.